Red alert! Set an intention. Go to Salon track.
We're also thrilled to announce that we now serve Raktajino.
Hoopla!
Ahoy, hoy, friends, and welcome to an impromptu salon to discuss some sad news we got today. I'm your host, Stan Williams, and Paramount Plus gave me pink eye. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's right. Bad news happened today. It has been announced that season 2 of Starfleet Academy will be its final season. Thankfully, it was produced. It is coming. They are not just getting rid of it the way that they pulled with Prodigy, but it's sad nonetheless. So we're going to talk about it with a couple of our saloners. Let's go ahead and bring them on. Let's bring on Will and Joanne. How y'all doing?
You know.
Yeah. I shared this sentiment online earlier. For the trolls who are out there patting themselves on the back, for the people who are celebrating this news, a hearty fuck you. A fuck you, and fuck you.
And your mama too.
And as you can imagine, the sentiment was received very well over on the Hellscape, formerly known as Twitter. The most engagement we have gotten ever. By the way,
makes me wish I still had one.
A lot of blue checks. I had to turn off the comments because they were proving my fucking point. And now they've switched from commenting to reposting, and now the reposts and the comments are by far outnumbered by the likes, including by some heavy hitters in the Trek fandom. So thank you to the good ones. But I want to rant. I'm going to rant. We're all going to rant. Obviously, the real villain here is the French, but if not, I'm just kidding. It's Paramount, right? And beyond Paramount, I'm going to lump in some reviewers in here and the trolls. I want to start with the trolls, I guess, because, well, no, actually, let me not take up all the space. I have a long rant coming, I'm sure, and you all do as well. Let's do some top thoughts. Will, what were your top thoughts when you heard this news earlier? You broke the news for me.
Yeah, so I did. I threw it in the chat. Sorry. I mean, I'm not surprised, but does not mean that I'm not upset and disappointed by it, because I kind of figured with like how they kind of very quickly wrapped up Strange New Worlds, how like they've been ending things, the kind of tapering off of Star Trek from this iteration, and like knowing that like Alex Kurtzman's contract is over at a certain point. On top of that, which I think if there wasn't in the merger with Skydance and Paramount, that I think all of those things I kind of knew. I knew this was happening, but it doesn't make it doesn't make it sting any less. And it's, I mean, like canceling a Star Trek show on the 60th anniversary of the franchise is like, ironically, very par for the course for Star Trek. But like, I mean, it's like it. Yeah, it's very Trek. I mean, more shows have been canceled than have continued to end to their kind of end at this point. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, they moved pretty quickly, which is kind of a show. The show business does not move quickly unless it's wrapping something up. So so getting to two seasons greenlit for Academy kind of immediately is, sometimes a very good sign, but also I'm like, well, they're working through the contract of Kurtzman. So it is a bummer. I think what hurts more is that unfortunately the man who is in charge, who has the keys to the franchise at this point, David Ellison, is a known fascist sympathizer and has installed and seen what he has done with CBS News and some of these other outlets with who he has assigned to kind of head these like institutions in like American media and like news. It does not give me hope for the franchise, unfortunately. I did make a comment that when this film that they're making right now turns out to be a giant, bloated, loud, soulless action comedy that's also a reboot of TOS, I'm gonna make sure that all of these fucking people who are cheering Star Trek start the cancellation of Academy don't forget that they did this, because it's just what it is. They're gonna take the franchise and they're gonna turn it into basically an Amazon action film starring Liam Hemsworth. It's just like, it's gonna be garbage.
And please note, everyone, I know the folks in the chat know this. Will did not say don't watch it. Will did not say boycott. We have never been the type that are like, well, then don't fucking watch anything. Like, if you don't like this particular Trek, maybe don't watch this one, watch something else. And we have never, and as you just heard, have never pre-hated something and encouraged people not to bother giving it a shot. If you gave Starfleet Academy a shot and it wasn't for you, whatever. But Joanne,
just let people enjoy things. Anyway, yeah, go hit it, Joanne.
Joanne, your top thoughts? Your top rant?
My top rant. No, I'm right there with you. Like, I was deeply disappointed, but also kind of not surprised when Will dropped the news on us, just because of the whole culture, of the franchise, and particularly the fandom over the past, couple of years. So I wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm not, and I think it is largely more to do with, the culture and our response, our overreaction to a number of things. We just have lost the ability to approach things with sophistication and nuance and careful consideration. We just, want to be right, want to be, powerful, want to be, all of these things. And they're just, out of control, out of control. I certainly, I do understand the concern about the people running the organization, but I guess because I'm a brown person in America, I don't really have faith in any kind of capitalist structure or who's running. I don't know. Are there shades of, rich or white or that don't do difficult and terrible things? I don't know. That's probably a conversation for another day. So that doesn't surprise me as much as, just like I said, I think the culture that this franchise has become is the biggest disappointment of them all.
Yeah. I think it is particularly frustrating to see the self-fulfilling prophecy of some of the hatred in the fandom. Folks acting like this is good news. A, we're not getting Star Trek Legacy. Y'all, we're just not. B, we're certainly not going to get it because they canceled this show. Like I said, I put up a message earlier, and over on Twitter, the hateful trolls, they really popped out of their trash cans to let me know I was right. I was called a faggot more than a few times. So good on you for clocking a bitch, because yes. However, not the most good faith argument to rebut the point that I was making. I also I turned off the comments because it was getting hateful, and like, guess what, y'all? I'm not gonna let hate just sit in the replies. So yeah, I hid the replies, and the block feature got a big old workout. And then I started to see, oh, they're so brave, they turned off the comments. I'm like, number one, who said this was a debate? This is an account expressing an opinion. Go fuck yourself. I got lots of woke comments. comments about, well, what'd you expect when they made a Klingon gay? Because, oh my God, y'all, there was a gay person in Star Trek, and oh my God, it was a Klingon. How dare this franchise show what we already knew, that gay people exist in any culture, in any time frame, and they will exist. And if you didn't think there were gay Klingons before, Tyrell would like to have a word. Because, come on. Come on.
Worf in the Mirror universe had Garrick on a leash. Come on.
Also
like,
that.
Like, come on now. I think the fandom is like of this franchise is becoming toxic in a way, and I think there are good pockets of it, like us included and a few others. You know, there are some people holding the fight, but I think there is it's you can trace a lot of this back to like the Zack Snyder shit with Justice League. You gave these fanboys a moment where they hooted and hollered for, you know, years to get the Snyder cut of Justice League. And then they finally got it. So they consider that a victory. But really what happened is Warner and HBO went, people have mentioned this movie a lot, and we have a made movie ready to drop on our brand new streaming service, which is why it mostly got put on there. It was never going to get released if it didn't go straight to streaming. And like the pandemic and all that, it was just the perfect confluence of this. So, you know, it's frustrating because like these people are not watching Star Trek and listening to it, because why would you go into a comment when someone who's clearly upset about the cancellation of a show and then throw slurs at them, or, you know, call them babies or whatever and all this shit, when like someone liked a show and it got canceled? I mean, they continue to whine about Star Trek Legacy, and they're never going to make that. They're never going to make a show where the primary cast is 70 years old. It's uninsurable. They'll never be able to make that show. Even if they get the rest of the cast to do it again, they're never going to make that show. And they're going to continue to whine and be little piss babies about it because it happened once and they think it can happen again. And they think that they're somehow the reason the show got canceled. But I think it was canceled before they announced it. I think they knew it was not going to go past 2 seasons. So, which is a little frustrating because it's like they didn't win this. You know, this is just bad. This is just a victim of circumstance.
I also think it was them stemming off the announcement, or trying to stem off some of the concerns about them pulling a Prodigy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not showing the second season, because as soon as season 1 wrapped, that's all you heard. Oh, season 2's not going to come to air, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I think this was just a way of saying, you know, hey, you know, we at least have gotten the commitment to show season 2, and, you know, shut the fuck up. It's going to air, and that's it, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a business, right? And if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. And, you know, the views were not there. You can say what you want about Strange New Worlds. It did crack the Nielsen top 10 more than once. You can say what you want about Discovery. It made its appearances as well. So, you know, but I've seen a dozen or more post every day about, I'm not watching Academy, but shut the fuck up. If you're not watching it, what do you have to say?
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's going to be the same with anything. Prodigy, as great as it was, as fantastic as it was, we weren't watching it. So, but we were running our mouths about it. So put up or shut the fuck up. I mean, really.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. Like we just finished our run talking about each episode for week after week, and then we did a season rundown. Every single week, we had our nitpicks and our criticisms. We had good faith arguments. We talked about what we liked and what we didn't, because we watched the damn thing we were talking about. We didn't just make shit up. We didn't throw a prompt into Chat GPT and come up with a script and fake. The like after the season premiered, just seeing the AI slop videos created. To see, look what they're doing. Like, you literally had to have a fake AI, because AI, by the way, doesn't exist. These large language models regurgitate and steal from actual artists bullshit that did not happen on the show to then complain about the show that you're not even watching. It
It's
pisses
crazy.
me off.
And I'm sorry, I have to take my moment since we're talking about it to say that it became a slippery slope because these bitches have been around for a while, but it became a slippery slope when Section 31 dropped and the
Get
fandom
into it.
overreacted and lost their mind because they didn't like it. But more importantly, those of us who talk about this show, either for a living or as a hobby or whatever, created a culture where it was okay to say that it's okay to not watch something because it's trash. And I'm sorry, when people whom the community has trusted to have these conversations about Trek in good faith get on their channels and say it's okay not to watch it, it becomes a slippery slope. You open the door for people who don't operate in bad faith to say, in good faith, to say, see, they don't like it either. They don't want to watch it either. So it becomes a free for all. So we need to take our licks for that, for allowing that to continue and not being called out. And it's created this culture for sure.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm glad you brought that up because, like, I think people's overreaction and the kind of bandwagoniness and the rhetoric that surrounded and continues to surround Section 31, I think really is it gave license to these people to be able to say things that are really awful without actually having seen it.
It's
so
not
like
Star Trek, unwatchable.
yeah, and like
don't
unwatchable.
bother.
Oh yeah, don't bother with this, blah blah blah. And then because when you saying something negative about a product, content of some kind gets more engagement than if you say something positive, or if you say I didn't like this, but I had nitpicks, but I like this part, or this isn't for me, or because we've addressed it. Like not all of us were super excited about our reactions to Section 31 were pretty mixed, but they were really in part in line with like execution and like the circumstances of that film. And I think this has given people a license to kind of create a narrative around Star Trek where they're just like, this is bad. But I think in thinking that what it's going to do is cause another reaction from the studio to give them the content they want, which it's not. They're going to turn off the faucet. They're not going to change what's coming out of it. They're just not going to give you anything. And while they say, oh, we're committed to Star Trek, we're committed to Star Trek, Paramount said that when Enterprise got canceled.
Yeah.
And we didn't get anything for like 7 years until they did the reboot. That is a continual narrative. That is a thing where they're like, oh, it's feed for the rest of us. They're like, oh, don't worry, we will be making something. Like how many times has a recent Star Trek film not gotten off the ground? There's at least a dozen failed starts on a fourth film, like another film. So it's like, this kind of the people's reaction, reviewers and other YouTube channels, Trek channels that join this bandwagon, who've said things, who've gone and been like, oh, I'm so sad this got canceled. This is a direct result of the shit you said during Section 31, because you open the door for these fucking trolls to come in and start saying this shit. These misogynist troll accounts who might be the same fucking person, we don't know, but like to say these horrible things about this, don't watch this show, it's woke, it's whatever, blah, blah, blah. Talking about the show, having not actually watched it and not understanding what Star Trek is. Because what you're going to get after this is going to be some cheap fucking action film, some schlock. And you're going to be like, well, this doesn't feel like Star Trek. Yeah, because they're going to jettison everything. It's just going to be space battles. It's going to be loud and it's going to be annoying. It's going to be a dumb end of the world scenario. And you won't get the kind of content we just got with Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
Like we just got it.
The reviewer class takes a introspective look. The generally good Trek loving bunch, because there are some like you if you search Star Trek Starfleet Academy on YouTube, a whole lot of hate videos come up because they get the views. Social media thrives on negativity because the algorithms have been tweaked, because all of these companies have learned over the years that that's how they get more views, that's how they get more ad dollars, it's how they make money. by propping up shit that pisses us off. So hate videos will always do well. Our clickbait that popped off is good evidence of that. And I hope, like, we think about this, we talk about this. I'm gonna ask myself, like, okay, like, as we move forward. Sorry, somebody is just zooming by. I've been thinking, like, okay, as we move forward with what we're covering, like how we cover it, like, we're not shills. We nitpick, we criticize. It's how we show our love, but we don't tell people, don't even bother watching it. Don't, like, it's unwatchable. And these YouTubers, even the good ones, like, so I'm not gonna name names because, like, I don't want to add to the hate. You'll probably be able to figure it out. But somebody was like, I'm so sad today. Like, you literally just did a video about unwatchable episodes of Star Trek. When
Fucking
you
hit piece.
when you call something unwatchable, you are telling your audience, do not watch it, rather than watch it, criticize it. For example, an episode that they said was unwatchable was Code of Honor, and we discussed it isn't unwatchable, it's problematic, and it should be watched so that lessons are learned. For more on that, you can go to that video. I bring that up as a point to piggyback on what Joanne and Will are saying. Like, folks who engage in clickbait and bad faith arguments feed the trolls and help feed the lack of viewership. You know, Joanne brought up the Nielsen ratings. Something that I found interesting over the last couple of weeks. Like, it's true. Strange New Worlds hit the top 10. Picard hit the top 10. Discovery consistently hit the top 10. Season 3 of Strange New Worlds dropped when I would argue, its quality dropped. And so it begs a lot of questions. Is that the metric that they look at? Because Paramount has never said why they continue something, why they will cancel it. So is being in the Nielsen top 10 the metric? If it is, what are they learning from this cancellation? Because the mandate for Kurtzman has been, number one, he was brought in to right the ship with Discovery. Discovery creative was fine, but the production was a mess. They lost a showrunner, then the new showrunners were evil.
Yeah.
And so he was brought in to right that ship, and then he got his longer term contract. And his mandate since then has been expand the fandom. The Star Trek fandom as of 2019 or 2017, when Discovery came out, was very old, very white, and there wasn't anything new bringing new people in. Discovery was bringing new people in. I know people myself who are like, Stan, you've been trying to get me to watch Star Trek all the time. It's not for me. They love Discovery. I know people who loved Rick and Morty, and so they checked out Lower Decks, and now they're watching The Next Generation. So his mandate has been expand the fandom. And so that's why they've said this with every new show. Strange New World is going to be the more traditional Star Trek flair. Discovery was the dramatic. Picard was the more dramatic character piece. Lower Decks, the adult entertainment. Prodigy, I think, is obviously one of the biggest fuck ups that they've made, not in making it, but in how they sold it. Because y'all may remember, about halfway through its first season run, they were like, hey, stop calling it a kid's show. It's not a kid's show. It's not a kid's show. It's a family friendly or whatever. Like, Paramount did not have their talking points on that show at all. And then their airing was haphazard. They took a month break over the holiday when kids would be home to watch it with their family. They had no merch. And then fast forward now, they did what they did with season 2. Netflix had to save it. Kind of didn't. Like, I love the Voyager A, but it's clearly not finished. They did not learn that lesson. So now we have Starfleet Academy. The goal with Starfleet Academy is a different segment of the audience, right? Like, we want younger So here's a show in Star Trek universe about college. Let's bring those folks in. Where was the marketing of some influencers? Like, did they get their audience? Did they not? They didn't crack the Nielsen top 10. Is that the metric if your show is designed for a young adult audience? Because, by the way, the Nielsen top 10 doesn't have any young adult shows on it. So what's the goal? What are the metrics? Because the messages are getting crossed, and it just ends up being shitty. And also, this has been noted in the chat, the streaming universe is just so fucking wild these days. Mm-hmm. There was this was covered by Trek news sites a couple weeks ago. Starfleet Academy's premiere with total viewers actually outperformed Picard season 3 and Strange New World season 3 total numbers, but it didn't crack the Nielsen top 10. That's third-party data versus the Nielsen data. So what does that tell me? Okay, yeah, it's been a few years since those shows. There are more subscribers with all of these because they have been growing somewhat steadily, if not exponentially. So the amount of views you need to get to even crack the top 10 have changed. So, like, again, what is the metric? What is the goal of this show? And what are they doing to actually draw that audience in? Because a few influencers probably won't do it. The marketing that some folks said turned them off to the show, didn't even give them a chance. Like, how are you bringing in your core audience versus your new audience? Like, that Paramount fucked it up. The trolls fucked it up. The reviewers partially fucked it up. It's just a mess.
Honestly, I do think, although we're not watching it, but I honestly do think part of this Nielsen conversation is their attempt to spin, their perception kind of in the culture, because, folk have been canceling Paramount Plus left and right. People are very angry about the choices and the decisions that they've made, in other divisions. So, there's probably not, they're probably kind of spiraling too. Like, I went to, I went to cancel my Paramount Plus subscription because I have it running through my Amazon thing, and I'm canceling all my Amazon things just for a number of reasons. Again, another conversation. Mm-hmm. But the minute I went to cancel Paramount Plus, they were like, no, don't go. We basically will give you 2 months free, So I was like, oh, bet. Right. So I think part of this is just an attempt to deflect, right? That people are not happy with the current administration and the choices that they've made. But there's also, just like I said, there's some other things that are very real, right? That we're giving them the fuel to spend this like this. The other thing I want to say, kind of related to what you wanted to say, what you just said, Daniel, is that, we also do ourselves a disservice when we mistake I don't like it for it's bad.
Yep.
They're not the same thing. And again, those of us who talk about shows on the YouTube often don't have that nuance and don't understand that distinction. Blasphemy, I know some people don't come at me. Well, you can come at me. You're going to get what you get. But I don't like Lower Decks. But I've not ever said that Lower Decks is bad. In fact, Lower Decks has produced one of, I think, the best episodes, most brilliant episodes in the entire franchise. But I don't like Lower Decks. It's not for me. I don't think it's not my kind of humor. Just like Rick and Morty is not my kind of humor. But there are moments in Rick and Morty that are brilliant, right? Just because it's not for me doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. And that's become the pervasive kind of culture. Well, I don't understand, or I don't like it, so consequently it's bad. No, if you're going to talk about, bring criticism, bring a hermeneutic, bring an intelligent eye to these shows, but don't just, if you only have the ability to say, I don't like it, so it's bad, reconsider your choices in this game, friend.
Yeah.
You don't have the skills to pay the bills, right? So
yeah. You know who that made me think of was, you've brought up Steve Shives before. I think he has really solid analysis a lot of the time. He just did his season 1 review, and I was a little taken aback at his comments about episode 5, which I thought was excellent. And he made some very interesting, and while I disagree, good faith arguments about why he did not like that episode. And it wasn't, this is trash, nostalgia bait, don't watch it. It was, I don't like when Star Trek references itself so directly. Like, oh, okay. I mean, it's a good faith argument to make. I disagree with it in that, particularly in that case. Good for you. But like, where are the good faith arguments? More of that, please.
Yeah.
More of that.
Well, they just don't get clicks, which is the problem. The YouTubers and these people get rewarded for negative comments. Like Brian in the chat said, it doesn't pay. So I mean, why would you say something positive about a show or say something that has a bit of nuance when, you know, people want that quick dopamine hit, that rage bait? Like, it's unfortunate because, like, I also think, like, when the people bring up Nielsen ratings constantly, which I think the era of Nielsen ratings is dead because it does not give a large enough. The media landscape is so diffuse now and over so many things, and streamers do not have to release their numbers. Netflix doesn't release them. There's Nielsen ratings and all this stuff, but they're not accurate. It's not like back in the day when everyone was watching, you had 5 channels and you'd watch these. Like, even with cable, it started getting a little like iffy because there's so many. These numbers just get so diffuse. Like, you're never going to get, like, you know, the MASH finale when, like, 150 million people fucking watched it. Like, you'll never get that kind of tap into the cultural zeitgeist ever again.
The Super Bowl halftime show is the only thing that gets that kind of viewer anymore.
Right. I mean, like the Oscars, which is it has been on a decline for a decade, and like they're moving it from network to YouTube next year, which is crazy because it doesn't pay. The network TV is for old people. I hate to say it, but it's for people who are watching, like, ironically CBS, who are watching Matlock. These Western shows. I have no fucking idea what's going on. There's 85 of them, and they all look the same.
Yeah.
If you like them,
keep Nielsen shows all look.
Or this fucking Western show, and they all look this anyway. I don't want to get into it, but these ratings they're diffuse, right? They're not accurate, and like, this show is marketed towards a younger demographic. It's marketed towards, like, Gen Z, so it's not really marketed to us, unfortunately, and it's not really a show designed for that. I think. But Gen Z does not watch shows week to week like their grandparents. Yeah. Like, they're not watching these shows. So, like, but they don't track shows on a binge. Yeah, exactly. They grew up on Netflix, so they're gonna watch these shows on a binge, and it's on Paramount Plus, which is not like it. Again, it's hemorrhaging. It's hemorrhaging people. You can get it attached other places, but like, TNG was a syndicated TV show. Meaning it was given to a bunch of networks. That doesn't happen anymore. Now all of these media companies like Paramount, that they want their own streamer because, well, we can get into that, but that's a whole other thing. Yeah. Where they think they have to have a control of their content, when really what they should be doing is licensing Star Trek out to other streamers, licensing this out to Netflix, licensing this out.
And license
Girl, you know what's sad is, like, I don't really use any other streamer other than Pluto and Tubi anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I just jam through on those. Like, I'll sit and watch the Tubi Star Trek channel and it just plays a random Star Trek episode, and it's fucking tea. But like,
I don't have to choose. Fine. It's a Barclay episode. Great. I go to the other Star Trek channel. It's still a Barclay episode. I go to the other Star Trek channel.
Yeah. Oh, it's that one episode of DS9 we don't like. I go back to the first Barclay episode because now it's over. But like, you know, that those are like, it's. I don't think we can look at ratings this way. I think that Paramount might use it as a way to deflect it. They actually didn't say it was a ratings thing. They kind of just said, "Oh, we're moving into a new era of Star Trek."
I think the Variety article intimated it, but you know, Variety.
Yeah. I mean,
Paramount hasn't said why. There's just been chatter around, and like, I don't want to go too well. It is news. So I will, like, it is news, but it being reported consistently, oh, it wasn't in the top 10. Oh, it wasn't in the top 10. Like, it becomes a echo chamber of a point that may or may not, as we're discussing now, be relevant anymore. If it is the reason, if it is the excuse, sure. but only the top 10 shows out of how many get to move forward. Like, does that make sense? I think we're all saying it doesn't. It also made me think about, you all had said this. I know people myself who have been asking me like, hey, how's Starfleet Academy? I can't wait to check it out once all of the episodes are available.
Yeah.
Like, I know at least 3 people that in my life, and that's anecdotal, that
They
doesn't
don't track
prove
those.
anything, but
They only track the rating once it's released, which is a
Yeah.
problem. They don't track when stuff gets watched on a binge. Like, the thing is like Star Trek Voyager, when it was on Netflix, was it was like the it was like a top 2 show. It was the number 2 show on Netflix for years.
decades after it ended.
It was crazy when they released those numbers. It was like Voyager is one of the top 5 shows on Netflix consistently for years. It was crazy. So it does not matter that these people go, oh, these ratings, whatever, blah blah, the ratings. It doesn't matter anymore. It really does not matter. It's how many people are on their streaming channels and how much the network is willing to shell out for these shows. And unfortunately, didn't they say Academy was like $10 million an episode, which is fucking crazy.
Well, that's been the case since Discovery season 1 was probably at like $7 or $8 million an episode, and then with inflation, current Trek focusing on a cinematic look has been a 10 million an episode thing. Although it's my understanding that season 2 of Academy costs less than season 1.
Right. Well, they're building the sets. There's always too much of an overhead for season 1. Right.
A lot of elements got cut out, like the dots that we saw in the premiere that we never saw again.
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't.
They're trying to give it that prestige TV look, you know.
Well, I mean,
so
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's just where
that's fine.
TV's
It's
at
beautiful.
now.
I mean, I love it. But I'm like, you know, I really feel like, you know, we got a little too much PowerPoint, your will earlier about the fandom getting some power, because you know it's kind of how Strange New Worlds came into existence, and then it went to our heads, and so now, you know, everyone's like, oh, let's lobby for this, and oh, we want legacy, oh, we want this or that, the other. But no, what we really need to be directing these grassroots efforts toward is revising the industry. Demand some standards, demand new reporting, demand it look like the world that it lives in. That's where you need, you know. We didn't anyway.
Demand more episodes. Don't demand better visuals, but demand take that budget and spread it over 20 episodes.
Yes, the thing I am most nostalgic for of 90s Trek is the business side. Like, they got studio notes. Like, it was not laissez-faire, but it was not the heavy-handed, it must be a viral hit the second it drops, otherwise fuck a second season. It, like, I agree. Like, I think we need to get away from 10 episode seasons. You know, look at the Pit. The Pit is doing well because it has a few more episodes. You know what happened when they got a second season? It came out when a second season of a show should come out, not years later, but the following year. Like, remember
Same with Night of the Seven Kingdom. Like, they're poised to drop it in a year, so that there's a and they only had 6 episodes. Interesting thing, but they're poised to keep the story going every year, to keep people attached, to keep people interested. There's industry reform, you know, models that need to happen and change. That's what you need to be pressing for. I don't want to see 1,200 videos about what you expect or your raggedy ass fan fiction. Let's talk about, you know, what needs to change in the industry, right? What we want to see happen so that quality can maintain the forefront, not this, whatever this is, right?
Yeah, bring it out of the cinematic sheen and give me more episodes. Like, I mean, I think, I want to be clear, I think the story is what should dictate the number of episodes, but at the same time, I don't think, outside of a mini series, I don't think anything less than 10 makes any fucking sense, and it drives me nuts.
No. Well, I don't think anything. Like, right now, I'm rewatching Battlestar Galactica, and they've got like 13. Like, they average about like 15 episodes a season, kind of. Like, I mean, like, there's some that are shorter, some that are longer, but like, it averages about 15, and I think that's kind of the sweet spot. Like, you get enough story, but it doesn't feel like it's overstaying its welcome. Like, 15, I feel like is just like that's the G spot for good
Yeah.
TV. Like,
Isn't that where
poke that for
Discovery
a little
kind of
bit.
was initially, like 13,
The first
15
season,
episodes?
it was
Second
13, and they
season
gave them
was
2 more episodes.
Yeah.
They gave them 2 more. It was 13 initially, and then they gave them 2 more episodes because basically they were like, we have to figure out how to wrap this up because they went through so many production issues that they were overturning show right. They went through in that first season, they went through 3 showrunners. 3 in that season alone. And like they had to like figure out how they were going to do it. So eventually they did kind of like they gave them 2 episodes to kind of figure out. That's why the last like chunk of that season is so weird because they just got written into a hole and they had no one leading them through it.
Yes,
Yeah,
15 episodes, 14, 13, 13, and 10. And I think Discovery is actually a really great example of exactly what we're talking about. 10 episodes was just fine for season 5. Like
Right.
that story, they did it really well. Season 4, I think meandered a little bit, and I don't think that the problem was the number of episodes. It's that they didn't diversify their story or have other bits to flush it out. It was just book for a little bit, and then Tarka might be gay, out of fucking nowhere.
Like it bounces around a little bit too much. It's like 2 episodes too long. It's like get rid of some of this. Yeah, but that was just because like Tarka was terrible and like they kind of didn't have a villain and whatever. But yeah, I mean it's a bummer because it could be done right. Like you don't need to have a $12 million episode of a TV show. Like I don't think it's important. Like you should spend more time really like. And I think the thing is I think Starfleet Academy did it. I think they spent more time on the writing. I thought the writing was much tighter than the other series. Like I was kind of crunching some numbers because like if you look at how many episodes have been written since like I think the series kind of gets rebooted like Discovery season 3. Like I think like that's like a light reboot for the franchise because then we get like Strange New Worlds and we get this kind of like shotgun effect that kind of happens. I would say the franchise kind of blossoms in a way. And if we look at that with the number of episodes, we would be at a season 3, a season 4 of TNG. Yeah. And I think the writing has just gotten good because I think these writers, they have consistent people writing them. They've got great people like Kirsten Beyer and Tawny Newsome coming back to write episodes. Like there's consistent people coming back to deliver these scripts. And I think it shows that there's some of the strongest writing because they have consistent people writing these series now.
And they're not going into production until they know what they're doing and where they're going.
Right. Like writing a fucking episode and not knowing where it's going, good God. And so I think like that's actually like a really hard, that's a thing from a 22 episode season.
Yeah.
Like back in the day is they had to go into production on stuff quick. So they were cranking out episodes left and right, which is why,
a serialized story. So like it was
easy to do that.
But if you're going to have a serialized story, and we see like in Academy season 1, the pilot and episode 10 bookend perfectly because they had finished the writing for the most part, at least like outlines for every episode, like they knew where they were going, so they could feed throughout so that the season felt cohesive.
Right. So
but even 10 was probably not enough for this season. Like they could have used 2.
I could have done with 2 more. Yeah. I think at 12 would have been better. But yeah, I mean, the TV landscape has changed. Star Trek Discovery's kind of cancellation, I don't think has anything to do with ratings. I don't think it has anything to do with the quality of the show. I don't think it has anything to do with the troll interactions.
Do you mean Academy?
Academy, yeah. Sorry, I keep saying Discovery some fucking reason. I don't know why, but Academy.
Same time.
Has nothing to. Yeah,
same time frame. It's all the same timeline.
Right.
Same time.
I know. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. I think this is purely a business thing. I think this is because of the merger. I think this is because of the end of Alex Kurtzman's contract. I think that's what this is. I don't think this has anything to do with a declining whatever in the franchise, whatever. I think this was almost kind of timed out.
Yeah.
We got 10 years of this shit. I mean, how much did we get of like the TNG era? About what, 10, 12, 15 years, something like that. Because
And
it was over by
I've never been a
2002,
Kurtzman
really.
hater. I like the strategy, and again, his mandate was expand the audience, and I think he has. Just, I mean, perhaps not enough for this particular show, but I think you're probably right. It's the timing, getting everything out under his contract, and like I am not a Kurtzman hater, but I do think a new creative head every so often makes a whole lot of sense.
I think it does make sense. I mean, like it would make sense to bring in other people to kind of freshen this up.
Yeah.
But like I think
wish they gave them 2 more seasons though. Like, hey, Alex,
yeah,
great, thank you. While we figure our shit out, because merger and everything else, you already have this one going, the other one's winding down. It's about a college, sure. Here, get 2 more seasons. Let's do a full 4-season college run while we get other shit ready. Like the lack of planning, the lack of foresight on the studio side, it always drives me nuts. Like we've talked about this before. The marketing wasn't there. The merch isn't there. What Academy merch is on the official Star Trek store does not match the Academy aesthetic of the show that they just produced. Like they've missed the mark in so many ways that, like we said at the jump of this is really disappointing news, but it's also not surprising.
No, it really isn't. And that's kind of the bummer. I mean, whoever is running that end of Paramount seriously needs to get fired, because like, well, I shouldn't say that, because I thought about this too. Like during like the golden era, whatever you want to call it, the 87 to 2005. Thank you, Brian, for bringing that up. I couldn't remember when it was, but like that era, like we didn't get a whole lot. Like there was a lot more toys, but that's because it was kind of a popular kind of kids show at the time, and they could sell toys to kids. But like, I don't remember there being like a lot of things, just generally speaking. But now like the ecosystem moves so fast. It's like, if they knew that I would have had those fucking a thing designed for the Warp Core pajamas immediately.
Yes.
The pajamas would have been up. Like people beat them online. There's people wearing them, but they're like, I bought this on Redbubble.
Molly Hunter is wearing your merch in your show. You have an immediate Academy Award winner to market your merch.
It's not that hard. You go to the costume department, you go, can I have that design? They go, yes, here is the print. And then you go, we'll have it this date. Everything's print to order anyway.
Yes.
Nothing is done like wholesale where they print a bunch of stuff. It's all print to order. Like, sorry to tell you, that shirt you bought is literally printed and mailed to you. That's why it takes 2 fucking weeks. Like, it's not.
Remember when shipping was, you'll get it in only 4 to 6 weeks.
I'm old enough to remember. Yes.
I used to buy Legos, and I used to get, oh my God. When I was a kid, I used to buy Legos from the Lego magazine, and it was 6 to 8 weeks because it came from Connecticut. And I lived in California. And I was like, this is killing me. As a child, I was like 8 weeks, and then it would arrive, and I completely forgot because I was also 11. So like, I didn't remember anything, but it's really, I don't think it's a lack of faith in Paramount, because if there was a lack of faith in the franchise, they wouldn't have done this many shows and spent this much money. Yes. I think it is purely financial. I think that they know that if we do make this merch, that the overhead cost is not worth doing this. And unfortunately, Paramount, not great in business. That's why they couldn't sell Paramount for God knows how long. They had to basically trick this idiot who's using his daddy's money, this billionaire idiot who's using his daddy's money to basically buy this network, and then use it as a guy. You say, oh, we're swooping in, and now it's like, and everyone, I got duped at first. I was like, oh, Skydance, great, because they made the original ones. No. They literally financed it. They did not. I looked into this. They had no creative control on this at all. It was all Secret Hideout, which is Alex Kurtzman and J.J. Abrams' like production company. It was Secret Hideout. They basically got this guy to fund it. And I thought, oh, this would be great because like Kurtzman has a relationship with these people. That's so good, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you, that relationship was not good. So it's kind of a shit show. So I don't know what to tell you.
JJ hasn't produced that fourth movie he was on the hook to provide. Now that's not entirely his fault
because they couldn't get money from Skydance.
Yeah,
it was not that Paramount couldn't fund it; they could not distribute it, as they could not get the money, and it's because Beyond didn't make a bunch of money. That's why. So it's
now
always
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so
why
we're
it never got made.
GoFundMe. We're gonna buy the rights to Star Trek and turn it into a co-op.
I mean, if they were smart, they would sell it off, but like they're not, because it's like their biggest IP. It would be like, I mean, it would be like Disney selling fucking Marvel. I mean, they buy all their IP, but it would be like Disney selling the fucking princesses. Like they would never do it. It's too big of a. It's like their bread and butter. They're continuing to make money off of people watching shit. You know, I made a joke about how the Pluto Star Trek channels are my relationship polycule, because they're the only people in my house. So it's like, you know, it's just constantly running. So I just think it's financial. The thing that upsets me the most about this is that I know that the trolls are going to claim this is a victory, where it wasn't. I think the war was over before we knew we were fighting one. And so I think this was over long before we got to it. So that's the thing that's the most upsetting thing to me. And like, and it's frustrating because as a Star Trek fan, I hold other Star Trek fans to a certain standard and a certain morality that is kind of dictated in this, which is very strange because it feels like a cult now that I'm saying it out loud. But like, there is, when you have people who are prejudiced, sexist, homophobe, racist, misogynist, fascists, like, and they claim to be Star Trek fans, it's like, who are you? What have you been watching? Is this the same fucking show? Like, are you watching the same thing?
A white man was the savior of the ship and the galaxy, and so I got to pretend as another white man that I'm also special as Captain Kirk. Like, because my brain is so fucking small, I can't see anybody who doesn't look like me for decades could find something in characters who did not look like them to appreciate, to admire, to aspire to. But the second we get real representation, we get a Captain Kirk meta-human in a way, in a Captain Burnham. Captain Burnham was so fucking like Captain Kirk, but shitty white men cannot fathom seeing something of themselves in anybody who doesn't look exactly like them. But like the willing suspension of disbelief is not there. The emotional intelligence is not there. The basic intelligence is not fucking there. And the whining and white people are all the villains now, huh? Like, first of all, yeah, actually,
they were before too, bitch. They were before too.
They were. It's so funny because they're low key kind of making the argument. The representation matters. Like that's what's so crazy. It's like you're literally making that argument because you don't see yourself as the star anymore. You feel like it's not speaking to you. Like, hello, hello, because the message has not changed. Star Trek is still Star Trek. What they've been doing since 1966, right? Is still what they are doing today in 2026. But the cast has changed to reflect the world that we live in. And they're losing their minds that they're not at the center of it.
Yeah.
Even when they still are. They still are.
When they really still are. Like, yeah, it's so deeply frustrating because like you get like that because you're not the center of the universe, it does not matter. But like really, truly, honestly, like these white men in these shows really weren't either. Like there was a lot of other people surrounding them were just as important, you know, like they're missing the fun. It just, you know, I think we're just as far, if not further away from the Star Trek future than we were in 1966 than we are today. Like we're just as far away, if not further, because
Time at the flat circle.
these people, yeah, you're not hearing this. You're not seeing what it is. Like, representation is different now than it was in 1966. It's different than it was in 1987. It's different than it was in 92 and 97 and 2002. It's different. Each era, it's different. But I think it's frustrating to be part of a fan base that I feel like is actively the it feels like there's so many in it that are like actively fighting against the thing that you kind of believe in and the thing that you appreciate about this show and the storytelling of the show. And, you know, Gene Roddenberry's original vision, if we want to go back to that, if we're a fundamentalist, it's like, it's, you know, I don't necessarily, the man was a sexist and whatever, but we can talk about that another time. But like, also cheating on Majel for God knows how long. It is very strange because I'm like, I just don't feel like we're watching the same show.
Yeah.
It's a little frustrating because even as a kid, I was like, I felt like if I knew someone who liked Star Trek, I knew they were immediately a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And like now I'm like, oh, but you're probably my enemy.
Now I have to ask,
this thing.
Like asking, did you enjoy Discovery is a sorting question.
It's like, where were you January 6th? It's like, how am I supposed to ask you this fucking question?
Right.
It's like, oh, you're a Star Trek fan. What do you think about Discovery? And then it's like,
Yeah.
It's like on a dating app and being
It's
like, who'd you
people
vote for?
Follow me. Like, I don't follow back immediately anymore because I'm like, I need to watch your feed for a minute because we might be aligned on one thing, right? And then all of a sudden I'm like,
I get duped. Even people that are longtime people that I have followed for a long time have actively said, I don't like this show. And I'm like, then fucking shut up. Like, then I have to unfollow them. Like, there's people that like I've appreciated their work and like their content for a long time. And they like, as soon as people have like with Academy and they're like, they're trying, they just, I don't like it. And I'm like, well, then don't say anything. Let people like this.
With someone I thought was a friend. I was on his podcast multiple times. And I remember we talked about Discovery. He's like, there's a lot that I appreciate about it. It's very different. I don't know that it's for me. Like, it was a very reasonable take. He's been the one recently posting hateful bullshit about Academy. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, he's the one who posted the video that was like, we used to get quotes like, and then he quoted the Drumhead and a couple of other like heavy hitter episodes. Like, yeah, if you quote poetry and then you just make shit up, because then he was like, and now we get, and he did not, if he had not to his credit, but if he had actually quoted Starfleet Academy and is like, here's this contemporary language, I hate it, it would at least be a good faith argument that I could disagree with, but he didn't. He put actual quotes against complete bullshit he just made up. A hearty fuck you.
Yeah. I saw that too. And I was like, you know, I commented on the video. I said, you know, that quote from Picard is actually a poem. And then he deleted my comment. I was like, yeah. Like, and there's a few people that like
this from a businessy account, like his artsy, like, here, buy my merch account. Like, why would I buy any of your, I wasn't going to buy your shit anyway, but like, why would I even consider it if you're using your craft account to shit on Star Trek? Here, buy my Star Trek shit that looks like shit while I shit on Star Trek. Go fuck yourself. God damn it. I hate these people.
I mean, it's people don't understand nuance, and there's no intellectual honest.
Sorry.
Yeah. There's no intellectual nuance. And it's hard now because like as a member of the fandom, it's like it's like you want, like, I know, just why there's so much energy to shit on people. Just who gives, stop fucking caring that much. But like there is it's just hard to be in the fandom now because like you can follow someone on somewhere and then immediately they start, like, there's a couple people I followed that they had some like really interesting kind of on TikTok, these really interesting discussions about like certain episodes and things. And I thought, I was like, oh, okay. But but he had nothing nice, nothing good to say about this, about Academy. Not in a way where it's like, oh, I didn't really get this. Da, 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 da. It's like he wasn't watching it. It's like he was saying things, but it's like you did not watch this episode. You did not listen to it. You didn't pick any of this up. You didn't look at the themes. You didn't think about any of this stuff in the show in context of what it's supposed to be. You know,
the YouTubers before it even premiered being like, "This is woke. Alex Kurtzman's going to be fired." Like,
oh, they were saying that it was canceled mid-season. There was so much clickbait that they're like, oh, they're going to stop airing. They're canceling it mid-season. Season 2's not airing. And I'm like, that's
I made the
fucking
mistake
insane.
of going on Facebook recently, which I am not normally doing, but every once in a while I'll check Facebook memories to make sure that I have photos of my last dog that aren't on my phone anymore. That's about the only reason I go to Facebook. And every time I'm on there, I'll scroll the feed. Whoops. And like somebody was like, whoopsie daisy to me, because they were like, I know that Starfleet Academy has been canceled. They've dismantled the sets. Season 2 didn't even get finished. I'm like, that's why they filmed them back to back. I was like, this is all demonstrably false. Season 1 was filmed in 2024 to early 2025. Season 2 was filmed September of 2025 until last month. It finished. If they had dismantled the sets, it would have taken way longer than the timing of that post. And people were like, oh, it only takes a day to get rid of sets. Like, you clearly are not watching this show if you think those sets can be dismantled in a day or two.
It would take you a month. They're enormous. They're enormous. And they've been. It doesn't make any sense either, because they were going to be using it for anyway.
Yeah,
they just don't dismantle sets anymore. They just don't do that. It's in a studio. They're gonna break it down and they're gonna house them. They're not gonna throw them away. That's idiotic. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this. It's a tough day for the franchise, because it's like I feel less at home in it than I ever have, and that's kind of a bummer. Because like it's like I don't know who's a friend and who's an enemy anymore, and
that's
it feels like there's more enemy.
I'm looking forward to the timeout. Like, you know what?
Right. It might need a cooling off period.
We all need to sit down and eat our fucking cheese sandwich, right? Yeah.
Exactly. You know,
what a great place to end it. We're all gonna eat our cheese sandwich, take a break, stop being dicks to each other. Not us specifically. We'll keep coming for assholes, but like what you like. Give something a shot. If it's not for you, fine. But God, the energy.
Leave it alone.
Like literally proving the final thing I will say is my point was proven today when I posted a message for the trolls. The trolls who, not even the trolls, but the trolls who will pop out of their trash cans to take credit and delight in today's Star Trek news. It wasn't anybody who didn't like this show, anybody who didn't watch it, specifically trolls who delight in bad news for the franchise. I said, fuck you. And boy, did the blue checks prove my point. And then say, oh, he turned off the comments. Like, yeah, why would I not? The one that really got me is like, it was I will read it. Hey, Paramount Plus, these are the ones you're catering to. Number one, if they were catering to us, the show would not have been canceled. And number two, what a fucking world it would be if Paramount Plus catered to people who said, hey, trolls who celebrate a show getting canceled, go fuck yourself or fuck you. What a world it would be if entertainment catered to people who did not celebrate their shows being canceled. And with that, good night. No, Joanne, any final thoughts before we close this ranting salon?
No, I think, I've said all I had to say. Like I said, we need the timeout. I hope we come back bigger, better, badder, fiercer, but At the end of the day, it's the end of the day.
Period.
And a new day will come at a to be determined time. The last thing I'll say, like we've touched on this, but I want to end on this note. It's one thing to be critical. It's one thing to give something a shot and say it's not for me. We've also seen some people who are like, oh, well, I don't even want to watch season 2 now. Please watch season 2. Do not be one of those people. Watch the new movie that they put out. Like, maybe it's an appeal to the masses bullshit sandwich. Give it a shot. We will never be the ones telling you don't even bother watching it. If you give it a shot and it's not for you, then sure, don't watch it. Don't shit on it online when people enjoy it. Watch and rewatch season 1. Watch season 2. I will be canceling my Paramount Plus, not in a like, that'll show them, but in a pragmatic, I have the yearly account. It renews next month. I'm not really in a place to be spending that kind of money when I'm not getting new Star Trek once a quarter the way that we were for a while. I'll re-sign up for Paramount Plus when Strange New Worlds come back. They won't get me for the year, but they'll get me for 2.5 months. Once
Ironic,
or
it's
twice.
actually
They have me in
better
a
to do
stronghold
that.
because of Drag Race. Oh my God. But I don't know what to do. 'Cause I need my All Stars fixed. But yeah.
All right, y'all. Go watch Starfleet Academy. Yeah. Everything will be fine. World War III is starting, but everything else is going to be fine. And on that note, live long and prosper, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow night to talk about a different franchise that got to complete its full story. Not without fighting for it, though. So, Salon 5 tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. We'll see y'all then. Bye.
Bye.
All hands abandon ship. Proceed to the nearest evacuation zone